Hey guys, this is day 12 of the series. There's a second life after this one, an eternity. Been some time without posting, but I'm back. If you guys remember, we're reading Revelations, and we're continuing from Revelations 1 verse 9. Title here is John's Vision of Christ. John speaks to us here saying, I, John, your brother and companion in the suffering and kingdom and patient endurance that are ours in Jesus, was on the island of Patmos because of the word of God and the testimony of Jesus. On the Lord's day I was in the Spirit, and I heard behind me a loud voice like a trumpet, which said, before we get into what the loud voice said, do you hear what John said? He said on the Lord's day, I was in the Spirit. I was in the Spirit before he heard the loud voice like a trumpet. This is already telling us that to hear God's voice, to hear all of this important instruction that come from God, you need to be in the Spirit. You need to be aware of your spiritual surrounding. You need to have open ears. Before God will just tell you some important information to spread, you need to be spiritually awake and ready to listen to God's instructions. So the voice said, write on a scroll what you see and send it to the 7 churches, to Ephesus, to Smyrna, Pergamum, Thyatira, Sardis, Philadelphia, and Laodicea. These are the 7 churches that John has been instructed to speak to. And as we go through these churches, we're going to really relate to some of them. Here's what John did. I turned around to see the voice that was speaking to me. And when I turned, I saw 7 golden lampstands. And along the lampstands was someone like a son of man, dressed in a robe reaching down to his feet, and with a golden sash around his chest. The hair on his head was white like wool and as white as snow, and his eyes were like blazing fire. His feet were like bronze glowing in a furnace, and his voice was like the sound of rushing waters. In his right hand he held 7 stars, 7, the number 7, and coming out of his mouth was a sharp double-edged sword. His face was like the sun shining in all its brilliance. We can't make the video too long, but wow. First of all, the Son of Man, which is Jesus. Do you see how powerful he's been described? In the Bible, the Revelation is basically the part of the Bible that speaks about the end times, the end of the world. And we know Jesus is a kind, loving person, which he is. But what John sees is something terrifying, something so powerful and overwhelming. That's Jesus. Something I also just noticed after research is that John describes 7 things about Jesus that he saw. And now the Jesus that he sees now isn't the humble man who used to be on earth. The Jesus that he saw was the risen, glorious, powerful Son of God in his fullest perfection. That is the God who we serve. He is so powerful. In the next video, we're gonna see what John does after seeing that, because I definitely won't be standing. God bless. Keep living like you know Jesus is coming anytime soon. See ya in the next one.